Today we're pleased to present a special feature on JADCO as it relates to recent findings. Good evening, I'm Tara Salmon. Extraordinary audit of JADCO to commence next week as Dr. Herb Elliott, chairman of JADCO, confirms that water is to send a 3-member team to the island. This is as a result of increasing pressure on JADCO. The new development is a vow coming from John Fahe, WADA's president, to take action against the local anti-doping body, including the possibility of deeming the country non-compliant with its drug testing responsibilities. Meanwhile, NACAC's president, Victor Lopez, visiting the island, commented on WADA's criticism of JADCO.
Sometimes it's politics, sometimes it's the success that the country has that creates this type of media sensationalism, and stuff like that. I feel and I think that the Jamaican athletes, that they're just great talent, great coaching, great tradition, and always been ever since Herb McKinley and the past people, George Rodden. The time goes by and things get modern, training.
Victor Conte, the man behind the Balco drug scandal, lashes out against Jamaica anti-doping practices, but was refuted by former acting executive director Dr. Charles Freeman and Dr. Winston Davidson.
Let's talk about what I do know about Jamaica for a minute. Without naming names, because this person is continuing to be competitive. They were there and trained there on a daily basis for 6 months, side by side with Usain Bolt. This person never saw a single tester there. They weren't tested. They didn't see anybody else tested. It's a small island. They basically train at the same facility. They work out, a lot of them at the same weight training facility. They never saw any testing or heard about any testing whatsoever for 6 months. At the stadium, the drug collection facility, when they went and they looked at it and they opened it up, it was an absolutely filthy, dirty closet with boxes piled up with dirt everywhere.
There's no way that anyone could dare talk about JADCO being a third world organization versus a first world organization elsewhere. As far as we are concerned, we adhere to the same international standards and are as good and even better than those who call themselves first world.
WADA in 2011 confirmed JADCO was doing well. However, statements made by former head of WADA, David Holman, objected these claims, forcing JADCO to defend against these allegations.
What we realized in educating the athletes and their support personnel, in going to the secondary schools and going to the tertiary institutions that specialize in sports, and in going to the federations, is that there are specific topics such as the prohibited list, whereabouts information, the sanctions that our stakeholders really didn't have a keen knowledge on. So what we decided to do was to break down the different areas of doping control and to really zone in on those areas. So our first workshop, we should be having 4 workshops this year, and it should cover the areas of the prohibited list, the changes to the prohibited list, the next frontier to doping in sports, which are the new methods, prohibited methods that are being used by athletes, and also managing health and managing medications. We're forming a link with the Ministry of Education and with the main tertiary institutions involved in sports like GC Foster, and we're coming up with MOUs where anti-doping will be actually a part of the curriculum, not just for the tertiary institutions but in the secondary schools, because really that's where we want to start. Boys and girls champs is a very big thing now. It's gone international. So we're coming up with a schedule to involve JADCO in the curriculum and forming MOUs where we'll actually be conducting lectures that will be certified by the ministry. So that's the way forward as far as education is concerned. As far as testing is concerned, we will continue to do what we have been doing, testing our athletes, maintaining our testing pool, and assisting the athletes to maintain their whereabouts information. We do test junior athletes, maybe not at the level that we test the elite senior athletes, but there isn't we can go to boys and girls champs and conduct the testing. It's just that it's done differently. For a minor, their parent or guardian has to be present. They have to sign their notification form that they're allowing their child to be tested. We have very few junior athletes in the testing pool, not even up to 10, probably 5. And it's really the elite junior athletes that are in the testing pool across the sports, 11 federations. I think that the public is becoming more and more interested in the mandate of JADCO, so we're hoping that we don't let anybody down, that they understand that they can call if an athlete has a question about whatever medication that they're taking. The option is there to call JADCO, send in the medication, and we will do whatever research that we can to assist them as far as whether or not it's a prohibited substance.
And now to Dominique Blake. Dominique Blake has sought to challenge the length of her ban handed to her by JADCO for her second doping offense. Blake, who recently got a 6-year ban, requested to have her sentence reduced in the Court of Arbitration for Sports, CAS. CAS says they received her request but has not set a date for the hearing. Blake, who was represented in the onset by a Jamaican attorney, has sent her appeal through her new Canadian-based attorney. Her initial appeal to have the ban reduced was turned down. However, the ban was made retroactive, now ending in June 2018. Former 100-meter record holder Asafa Powell, who is set to face JADCO in January 2014 on doping violations in June, has refuted allegations of approaching Racers Track Club.
I was never in the picture at all, that switch, I wasn't planning on making that switch.
Powell, the first Jamaican to hold the 100-meter record, is now back in training, but remains tight-lipped about his new coach.
Nothing yet, just doing some stuff, so when everything is settled, you all will know.
He assures us, however, that he will be training in Jamaica and has no plans to go overseas.
No, I want to stay here in Jamaica, this is where I started, so I want to stay in Jamaica.
Asafa, on the other hand, intends to pursue a career in modeling.
Well, yeah, definitely. There is always room for improvement. There's always room for more. So, me taking a step, and doing this, I'm just showing, Jamaica that, we can always do new things. Always the first to start something. Set a trend, and the others will follow.
Stephen Francis says that Asafa Powell and Sharon Simpson are very lucky.
I think it was Saturday morning. When we heard that there was a positive test result for the athletes, the manager, I spoke to the manager, Paul Doyle, on the phone, and he was telling me about calling the police. I said, for what? What for? He says, he wants to search him to make sure that he will confiscate everything that he has. Because athletes are busy getting better in their sport, right? And so they have to have a couple people who will say, okay, I will do what this guy says. And so Paul Doyle was in a position of trust, and he sent this, I don't want to call him a druggist, but this guy is well known, from what I'm now hearing, in the world of doping. And he sent this guy here, and he could easily have found out who this guy was. And I believe that it is quite possible that he did know. I think Asafa and Sharon are very lucky that they got caught with this before the guy had a chance to force something stronger on them. Because it could have easily have been steroids or growth hormone or something which was really indicating that they were cheaters. You know, stimulants does nothing to a sprinter.
Lucky indeed. Thanks for joining us for this special feature on Jadco. I'm Tara Salmon for CEN TV.